Hey, everybody, welcome back to our episode of FSi DFS Fantasy Baseball Picks. I'm your host, Megaroar31. Two slates today. I'll quickly run through the four-game early slate, and then I will do the main slate, which is 6 games. So pretty good day. No major weather concerns, maybe some sprinkles here or there, but nothing that should delay or prematurely end a game. So 4-game slate starting at 2:05. We have White Sox in Texas. We have Tersant against Max Scherzer, who was traded from, if you missed it during the trading deadline, from the Mets to the Texas Rangers. And Tersant's definitely a no. The Rangers have almost a 6 total here, and Scherzer is definitely probably the top pitcher on the slate here with matchup and talent and everything. Bat wise, White Sox would just be probably the ultimate YOLO contrarian stack here, and then Texas is one of the top one's on the slate, but they're a little expensive to try again with shares. There's not impossible, but I'll let you decide what direction you want to go on that one. Next, we have the Mets and the Royals. Wind blowing in here, 6 miles per hour, 82 degrees. Carrasco and Singer. Carrasco has just been crapco recently. He's been terrible. So not looking forward to playing him, even on a small slate. I mean, if you're max multi-entering, then, he's still a major league pitcher. Kansas City is still Kansas City. So, potentially, blind squirrel finds nut on occasion. I'm not saying if you're playing 150 on the small slate not to, but I think I'm not going to be probably playing any Carrasco personally. He's kind of a reverse splits guy, so look at the righties as well as the lefties. And Singer on the other side, like the Mets are kind of struggling also here. Looking at the lineup here, they've got McNeil leading off. Nemo's dealing with some kind of leg tightness. DJ Stewart's batting second. Beatty. So this is not a powerful lineup here against Singer. You only really have maybe McNeil, Lindor, and Alonso in it, and then it's Beatty, Venos, Navarez, Ortega, and Areza, guys I haven't even heard of before. So really makes me like Singer is probably SP2 here on DK, and even can be your top pitcher on FanDuel too if you want to pay up for expensive bats. So on the KC side of it, we have like I said, I like the righties. Garcia leading off. Been a huge fan of him all season. With I'm not gonna recommend Melendez because fan of the show, Matt Noah, who watches every single video, can never get him right. So I can't recommend him because I'll just send Matt into a tailspin there. Perez. And we have all have players like that where we play them in great spots. They do absolutely nothing. Then one night we finally give it up, and they finally actually go out and hit a home run or steal a base and actually smash their value, and it's just so frustrating. So Perez, lots of cheap options here to round out your lineup in KC and be able to get bats. So I think probably it's what most people are going to probably try to do on DK in the slate is pay up for 2 pitchers and then take Texas and Kansas City. I'm going a little bit different direction, but we'll get that in a second. So Baltimore and Toronto here. Flaherty coming over from St. Louis, and Gossman. Gossman's been up and down. This Baltimore lineup they cooled off a little bit last night, but they've been decent against almost any type of pitcher, and they can hit righties and lefties. They are very, very dangerous. And so I think Gossman's squarely in play. Like Scherzer better in this matchup. Flaherty on the other side, even though the Blue Jays are a little bit watered down without Bichette in the lineup, and they're pretty much right-handed heavy here, although Belt has done better recently. Vercheo and Kiermaier and DeJong really at the bottom don't scare me too much. So I think you can play him in the middle range. I'd rather play Singer against the Mets lineup that I see here, just with the potential that Toronto has. But I get it if you want to take a shot on Flaherty, but he hasn't been anything special recently either. Bat wise, I love Baltimore here in GPP, and I know Gossman, it's a huge contrarian thing, but beyond Gossman, the Blue Jays bullpen is pretty much really torn up. They had the 2 games where they had to really use them up and gave up a lot of runs to Baltimore. They're down to only 6 arms in the bullpen because when they brought back Ryu as a starter, I believe that's who it was. the guy that came back from injury 2 nights ago. I think it was on Tuesday. Now they're going with 6 starters. So in order to have 6 starters on to kind of save the starters, they're down 1 bullpen arm. They used 3 last night. They used 3 or 4 the night before. So I just really think that even if Gossman holds him down, that Baltimore can do some damage late. And I'm going to take chances on that in GPP. Toronto, like I say, I get it. Flaherty's had his struggles. Toronto's got some really good bats. So Springer's been really ice cold. So Merrifield, love him leading off here at second or outfield. Guerrero, like him. Belt's been decent. Chapman's been okay. So probably a mini stack of Toronto. I don't know if it'd go full stack, but they're definitely in play. And then finally, we have Arizona and San Francisco. We have you guys know I cannot pronounce names. Fadat, we'll say Brandon, young pitcher here, and then Scott Alexander's opening, and then Beck's coming in. So Alexander's a no, but Beck has actually pitched like 2, 3, sometimes 4 innings, and he's at 4K. He's gotten like 10, 12, 13 DK points, some strikeouts, really limited damage. So I might end a YOLO line. Really, if I'm not going Singer, maybe take some Beck as my SP2 in some lines. I don't think that's completely crazy. I would not do on FanDuel, but on DK, if you're trying to get like very, very expensive bats in with like a Scherzer or a Gossman, it might not be the craziest thing in the world to do. Bat wise, I think either side of it you can take, because the pitchers, I think I see a lot of people on the Arizona pitcher in the cheap range again, but San Francisco matches up so well. They got so many power lefties here in Wade and Conforto and Peterson and even Bailey. I just really don't know if I want to do that. The bottom lineup's not that bad and not that scary. I know Yastrzemski's out, and they're usually better against lefties with like the right-handed power, but JD Davis, we've always said, is a reverse splits hitter. So even though he's a righty, he hits righties better than lefties. So there's a lot of potential there to keep in consideration. And the Baltimore line just came out, and it looks like the normal Baltimore line, no real surprises there. So let's look at the builds, and then we'll get on to the late slate. So obviously taking Max Scherzer. If you want to try to go Max and Gossman, that works. I'm going San Francisco and KC here. I really like the way the build works out with the positions and stuff, and it able to get me to pay up for both pitchers. Or if I go Singer, then I would still keep like either San Francisco or KC. Like I said, you can go Texas and KC. I think that's the way most people are going with paying up for everything. But I want to take Beck as in a GPP, pay up for my SP1, and then let me stack Baltimore and Texas, and I can get all the good bats. So Rushman low, figure out what you want to do at second base. If you want to pay for Simeon, if you want to take Baltimore has Urias, but you can do, or Adam Frazier batting 6 isn't bad at 3-2 is a lefty, and he had a home run the other night, so he's not completely toast. So whatever way you want to go there. Gunnar Henderson at third. Corey Seager is the biggest building block that you want to use for Texas here. He came back from the injury. He hit a home run last night. He looks good. Didn't miss anything. Did well in his rehab. So he is ready to go. And then Garcia or Santana there. And then however you want to fill in the rest of the way for that. So FanDuel, Max or Gossman, whoever works for you. Same thing. I'm going San Francisco and KC. If you want to go KC and Texas, that works also. Then you'll just have to take a one-off if you take Max as your pitcher, because you can't stack it that way because the pitcher is on the same team as one of the 4-man stacks. For GPP, Singer, and again, I can fit the full. So Rushman, Lowe, O'Hearn, whoever you want to take at first base. You can play another one in utility. I think you can play O'Hearn in the outfield if you want to. Is he in? Yes, he is. He's batting 4th, so he's in the lineup. Simeon, Henderson, Seager, Santander. That's where I'm going with that one. So let's get on to the night slate. So we'll do that. A little bit. Okay, so obviously we have a clear SP1 here. So when does the slate start? This slate starts at 7:15. So Houston and the Yankees, Javier and Schmidt. Javier struggled recently, but he had a real gem last time out. And it was actually, I think it was against a good team. So, and the Yankees have struggled. They do have like the right-handers back in with Judge and Stanton and Torres really. So, and Javier's been a little bit of reverse splitsy. So, I mean, but I think that in the medium range, he's probably my favorite pitcher because I just think the Yankees have just, I'm not going to say that they mailed in. They're still competing. They're still in the playoff race, but I think it's just going to come to a point where you're going to see them starting to maybe shut some people down and try to put their chips in for next year and not try to put some additional mileage on this team unnecessarily, and try to save it for next year and give some young guys some look. So we'll see if that happens today. It's they're still in it. So Schmidt on the other side has been serviceable, but Houston's really starting to put together, having like pretty much their full lineup back. I don't think we're going to get Brantley back this year, but Pena in the second side has really done everything and more that they'd ever asked Brantley to do. So I think they found a really good player there, even losing Correa. I think, they found their shortstop for the future. And McCormick has just been hot on the bottom of the lineup. Julius can steal bases. Maldonado, he is the most underrated catcher in all of baseball. The way he calls games, like the Molinas were excellent at that also. But Maldonado, I saw him in the World Baseball Classic, how he did well with like the pitchers calling the game, and he called a magnificent game with Valdez the other night when he had the no-hitter. And he has some pop and he's decent offensively, but the value he has, anytime I see him as a catcher, it really helps me. If I'm on the fence with the pitcher, think, okay, if he's out there calling this game, he could definitely make a huge impact. And, I just need to call that out for him just because I think, you know, he's a generational talent. I'm going to go that far to say that at calling games from the catcher position, he does a masterful job and he should be commended for that. So just had to say that. Yankees on the other side, bat wise, again, I think they're just a GPP stack. If you think Javier is going to continue to struggle, even though Maldonado is catching, that's something to look at. Next up, we have Pittsburgh and Milwaukee. Mitch Keller and Hauser. Keller's been like struggling a little bit recently. Milwaukee's a good get right spot here. They're worse against lefties and righties, but I think I'll definitely try some Keller and some lines. Hauser on the other side. He came back from injury and looked really good, and then he started to decline. But Pittsburgh, like their lineup's kind of watered down here. Besides like Swinsky and maybe Enny Rodriguez, and of course you still have like Hayes and Reynolds up the top. Like the bottom of the lineup is really new and unproven. So, and definitely some strikeouts there. So Hauser, I think, is risky, but I think in a GPP as an SP2, it's not the worst decision in the world. Bat wise, Pitt cheap, definitely will use them to fill in on like some more expensive stacks to make it work. And Milwaukee on the other side, I think are definitely in play in GPP against Keller if he continues to struggle. Obviously Yelich, Santana there, Carlos Santana, switch hitter there. Adames hits both sides well. The Sal Frelick hitting fifth is decent, lefty there. So trying to use it even as a lefty, gets hits, but he's not going to like have a lot of power, but he's got a ton of speed at the bottom of the lineup. So if you want to do a little wraparound thing there and skip like the ninth and go like 8-1-3-4-5, and that's definitely works for me. Next up, we have the Twins and the Cardinals. We have Sonny Gray and Liberatore. Twins, Sonny Gray struggled, but the Cardinals, like I thought they've kind of mailed it in. They've lost a bunch of guys to injury, like DeJong's gone now, which is fine because they had Edmonds there. And I think Burlington like is out for the season with shoulder surgery. So Nootbaar should be leading off again. You still have the power and Goldsmith and Arenado and Gorman up there and Contreras. So you have some decent, but they're all righties. There's really not like besides Nootbaar too many lefties. So I think Gray could have a decent game here. St. Louis, the wind is blowing in and it's 80 degrees. It's not like it's like 86 or 90 degrees. So I think Gray's in play here. Liberatore on the other side is absolute no. He's just been terrible. The Twins, even though they strike out a lot, and have made some really bad pitchers look good recently, I don't think this is a night to play Liberatore. It's a small slate. I'm not going to hate it if you take a chance in a giant field GPP and do it, but I think I'm going to avoid it. But definitely like the Twins' favorite cheap stack to fill in against the lefty, especially the righties here. Correa Solano batting second should be really cheap at like 2.7. I'd probably skip Buxton. He's just been too banged up recently. But like Farmer, Polanco, Castro, there's a nice even if you skip like Correa up there, like you can, if you go 2, 4, 5, 6, or 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and then fill in like expensive bats and pay up for Ohtani and another pitcher, then that's probably a good night for you. Okay, so the preseason football game is starts tonight with a Hall of Fame game. It's the Jets in Cleveland, but the other night I saw the score of 20-9, and I thought that the Bears might have played the Bengals in a preseason game. Then I realized it was the Cubs and the Reds. The Reds have been putting up some runs in this series, but Chicago has put up 36, and it's the first time since like 1896 or something that they've scored 36 runs in 2 consecutive games. It's just crazy the amount of runs, and the wind hasn't even been blowing out. It's been blowing across the field. Same today. So Luke Weaver, bad pitcher. So, definitely another day for Chicago bats. Tyon, he's starting to round into like what they were looking for when they signed him to come and be a pitcher here. And the Cubs are actually hot. They've actually, believe it or not, they've scored the most runs since the All-Star break. It's not the Braves. It's actually the Cubs. Now, of course, when you score 36 runs in 2 days, that helps your average. And then the Cubs record is something like, was it 10-2 or 18-2? It's been phenomenal since the All-Star break. They're clicking. They're starting to put things together. Cody Bellinger has been hot. A lot of these guys are heating up. Candelario came over from Washington, and the bottom of the lineup has really deepened and lengthened that lineup and made it really solid as a switch hitter. So lots of good things here. The Reds have cooled down probably the most, but there still has potential. Like De La Cruz, I don't know if you can pay 6-1 for him. He's just been inconsistent recently. I think, he came up and was on fire, and everybody loved the way the Reds played and everything. It's been really fun to watch them, but they've gone on the road and they just haven't been as productive, and maybe they're starting to get a book on some of these guys, but I think they'll figure out and snap out of it. I don't know if today's the day, but I think they're still in play. So pitching wise, Tyon, I think if you need to take a cheap SP2, I'm okay with that there. Weaver, I'm not touching. Reds make probably my 4th favorite stack because I think that they can put up some runs, say, and snap out. And they have been. They just haven't been putting up as many runs as the Cubs, so they've been kind of overshadowed. But in the Cubs, I think will have another day. I wouldn't be surprised if they put up another crooked number on Weaver, and this Reds bullpen that's absolutely been annihilated recently. Mariners and Angels. Ohtani, top pitcher on the slate, no questions asked, just move on to that. Woo on the other side here, started out really good, he has like strikeouts, but he gives up runs too. Angels have really solidified their offense a little bit more. I mean, they're out down Trout, but being able to pick up like Richards and Cron really kind of helps again lengthen the lineup, the same thing as Milwaukee did. So mixing some of these younger guys, and Ohopi, I think, is getting close to coming back also. Cruz also for Pittsburgh, just wanted to make a note there. He's traveling with the team, and he might be back in the lineup sometime soon also after breaking his foot. So maybe he can pick up where he left off because he was doing phenomenal before he got hurt early in the season. But anyways, Ohtani, lock, cash, SP1, just pay for it on the slate. You're not going to find anybody that could pure score as much as he can. Seattle, Woo on the other side. I mean, GPP, I think he's fine as an SP2 if you want to take some chances on that. Seattle, definitely take a Seattle stack in case Ohtani has a late nighter, gets scratched with like food poisoning or something, and they throw out like a bullpen game, because Seattle definitely has power and stuff. So you never know. Maybe you could actually win a tournament that way. So only for $1. Angels, I mean, they're hard to stack when you don't have Ohtani there. It makes it much cheaper. I like Renfroe leading off here. I think he's really found a decent spot, and I've always liked him with his speed and ability of contact and power every so often. Cron 3 spot, Moose Tacos there, and the hitting cleanup. So And I think I like how they can alternate lefty righty lefty righty. It seems like this Angels, they really want to try to make the playoffs and keep Ohtani, so they've got a lot to play for. So I'll definitely be playing some Angels down the stretch here. But again, it's just kind of hard on nights like this when you can't play Ohtani in the stack. He'll still be batting, he's still influenced, so and he'll still provide protection for some of the people around him. So that's why I have him as top GPP stack. Oakland and the Dodgers. The Dodgers have been lighting up Oakland just like we thought they would last couple of games. Sears comes out, he gets his turn to get pummeled today. So another lefty, fire up the righty bats. Even some of the lefty bats are probably fine too. Outman's actually been doing really well, lefty on lefty recently, but the Oakland bullpen's horrible. So once they get past the starter, then all bets are off. Any of the left-handed bats come into play. So obviously, we're going to stack the Dodgers any which way we want to. I have them as my number 2 stack underneath the Cubs here, but they could probably be your number 1 stack. And you can even get them in with Ohtani. There's so much value out there, especially, like I said, with like the Twins in Pittsburgh. And if you're not playing Urias, Oakland. So, but Sears is definitely a no for me. Urias, he's better at home than on the road. Oakland has been better against left-handed pitching than right-handed pitcher, and it looks like Ruiz is back and leading off, which is exciting. He's not going to hit any home runs, but he might get on base 3 or 4 times because he's a great contact hitter and has blazing speed and probably steal 3 or 4 bases. So that's exciting to see. So, and maybe I just play him as a one-off tonight just to have exposure to him in a lineup. So bat-wise, the Dodgers, like I say, take the righties primarily. Don't sleep on the lefties. Don't like Enrique Hernandez, but do like Outman, Taylor, Rosario, if he continues to play like shortstop there in the middle of the lineup. Doesn't have a ton of power, but he's another contact guy that can get on and just be able to nickel and dime enough things to pay off its price at 3.9. And then for the A's, like I said, Urias has struggled. You can take a beautiful righty stack there for a very, very cheap price here, but make sure you have your Ruiz in that stack no matter how you do it. Okay, so that's all we have for the games. Let's go on to the builds, and I'll get you on your way for your Thursday. So Ohtani, obviously in cash, I'm taking the Dodgers. So give me Smith, Solano at first base. So you can also play him third place. Polanco bets how much you have. You can always play bets in the outfield also. Third base, I'll just let you decide Muncy, or if you want to go with Farmer there. Like most of these Minnesota guys fill and Taylor and Betts fill all your infield positions if you just move them around. So I'm definitely putting Correa there. If you don't want to pay up for Correa, that's fine. I think you can put Betts in shortstop or Taylor in shortstop there, or one of these other guys in shortstop if you want to save some money to get up to a better SP2. And then outfielders, just fill in with Minnesota and LA Dodgers. So pick your favorite combination of bats with LA and Minnesota, play around with it to get the SP2 that you want, lock it in, cash, call it a night. Same thing in FanDuel. Ohtani, Solano, or Will Smith in that spot, play the other one in the utility if you want to. Farmer, Polanco there, Taylor, Correa, Betts is the core I'm giving you. Again, 4 Minnesota, 4 Dodgers, whatever combination you really like with Ohtani. And then your utility, you'll have a ton of flexibility and salary wise from Taylor at 2K, I think minimum salary as the outfielder for Minnesota, up to Castro's another good one to throw out there as a decent outfielder. And, don't forget about Outman or something for the Dodgers. So many ways to build that stack. In a 20 max, I might have 10 combinations of Minnesota and the Dodgers with Ohtani alone, just maybe even do half of the 20 maxes, just that line in different combinations, because I feel so strongly about it this evening. So for GPP, Urias or Kelly, you can also do a Javier Wu if you want to try to get up even more. So I'll let you decide who you want to take for catcher. I'm probably going to punt it, to be honest, just to get 2 better pitchers, because the lower end ones I'm a little bit skeptical about. But Bellinger at first base, I wrote good luck at second base, because this has been another difficult between Horner and Morale. They're both second base eligible. It's been trying to pick the Cleveland stack, where you used to have to pick between Naylor and Bell. They both play the same position, and you only had one choice. So I hate that. I love in FanDuel how they have multi-position eligibility, so you can squeeze both of them in your lineup. So I don't really have a lean. I get it. There's a difference in salary by a little bit. So I guess it depends on if that factors in or not, or where they bat in the order. Horner usually bats up, but then Morale has also, but then you can use Morale's wraparound. So I'm going to stop right there. The possibilities on this. Pittsburgh's going to be my secondary stack. I'm going with Hayes, Swanson, Happ, Swinski, and then whoever else you can figure out in the outfield if you want to go Suzuki. So try to get 5 Cubs in, and then 3 Pittsburgh guys, or just 2 Pittsburgh guys and punt catcher if that works for you. On FanDuel, Javier Urias is where I'm going as my starting pitcher. There's only a couple $100 difference there. But Bellinger, Hayes, Talkman, Happ, and Swinski are the core guys. And again, you want to try to go 4 Cubs and then 3 to 4 Pittsburgh guys. You might have enough salary off the Pittsburgh guys to go with a one-off that you really like. And then again, like I said, I really like Ruiz. Even if you're using Urias, he's not going to score like 100 home runs off of him, but the bases and stuff that he can steal if he gets on, even like walk or something, could really not hurt yours as a pitcher, but really add up to a lot of points for you. So that's what I got. Sorry, it's a long video, so I want to get this out there because I know you're probably going to have an hour before the early slate locks. But I wanted to make sure I had all the information for you and had a couple technical glitches today. So one thing before we go, Hall of Fame game is tonight. FSi is going to open up preseason NFL coaches room. So our coaches will be there to help and try to throw out some information. And, because it overlaps with MLB lock and things like that, we'll try to throw out some cores for these preseason games, but it'll definitely be there to like throw out some news, some ideas and things through the course of the day just to help you. And then if you do sign up early, our NFL package, there's going to be a huge discount on that. So check our website today. The link is in the description of the video, and check out Twitter or X or whatever you call it nowadays, because we'll post some information there on it also. So look forward to you coming and joining in that. And if you want more information on FSi DFS, you can always get into our Discord through the link in the description, and on our website, all our subscription packages, everything is very, very fairly priced, and we do a really, really good job for the sports we cover. We give you 100,000% effort on it. And we're really proud of that, and we really are thankful for those of you who have subscribed or in our family. But if you don't want to subscribe, to completely understand, times are tight and so is money. But if these videos are helpful for you as a free service, then the way to help us back is to like the video, subscribe to our channel so you know the videos are coming out, and share with your friends. And for all the viewers, we just appreciate you also for that. So if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat below as always, and you can hit me up at MegaWarrior31 on Twitter. Thanks for watching. McKinley should have tomorrow, and then I should have Saturday. We take Sundays off, and then discuss the plan for next week. 2 NASCAR races this week, Xfinity and Cup in Michigan. And and then NFL. Fall is getting so close, it's getting kind of scary. So hope you have a great Thursday. You know how to get a hold of me. Check out all the other things that we've got going on FSi DFS, and I will see you next